Welcome, 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 guys. This is your boy, the 10X Closer. And I just wanted to, share a little story about the importance of purchasing real estate whenever you can and holding on to it for as long as you can. Now, this story is coming from a client that I had about 8 years ago. I helped her purchase a home, right? So 8 years ago, I helped her purchase a home. She was basically working as a CNA, right? So she wasn't making much money. She barely got the loan. To be honest, I'm not even sure how she got it. But at the time, the purchase price was not very much. So she purchased a home for about $112,000 to be exact. And I got a call from her a few months ago, and she was saying that she was ready for a change. She was ready to move, basically purchase a different home. So she wanted to sell her home and purchase a new home. So I'm like, perfect. All right, I'll definitely help you out with that. Now, of course, this is now 8 years later. So I'm thinking, well, she definitely should have some equity, probably a better job, or at least increase in pay. Now, only one out of the two scenarios actually changed in her situation, was the equity, right? So, as I said, she purchased a home for $112,000 about 8 years ago. She sat on it. She never refinanced. She never did anything. She kept her credit good. This lady has about an 800 credit score, right? But the second part is with her income. She had basically the same job. She was working at the same company. Unfortunately, her income didn't change. So she wasn't making any more than she did 8 years ago, which is, sad in a way. But the good part about that is she is actually in nursing school, and, she is studying to be a registered nurse. So with that said, her income would drastically change, but that's not the point. I say that and I speak of her income just to elaborate on the importance of purchasing real estate. So now we're talking about 8 years later, your income hasn't changed. So I got her with my mortgage lender. And basically she got pre-qualified for about the same amount that she was pre-qualified for 8 years ago, which was $113,000. Now, as you probably know, in this market, you can buy anything for $113,000. At least not in the South Florida market where we are at. So that would have been a major issue if this was her first time purchasing. Clear cut, she wouldn't be able to do anything. However, with the property she purchased, in that 8 years, she's gained almost $200,000 in equity, right? So from the time that she purchased, her property went up in value to about, actually it appraised at 270,000. So that's not quite 200,000. That's what, whatever the math is. It's a significant amount of money. And I say that to say this. There's no possible way that with her income that she would ever be in a position to save that kind of money and that time. There's no possible way she would be able to save that money She definitely wasn't making nowhere near enough money to even save or enough money to even purchase at this point. So basically, by her making the right choice of purchasing whatever she could when she could, this is a single mother. She purchased her nice little home at the time, and 8 years later, it gained a ton of equity to where we were able to go ahead and purchase not brand new, but a much newer home, much nicer home, and a better area. And she was able to come to closing with $130,000, from the proceeds of the sale of her last home. So without the power of real estate and, holding on to your property and gaining equity and all the great things that come with it, she would not be able to do it. She would basically be stuck. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know that if you don't own a home, you would get mixed opinion about purchasing. You have some of the people, well, don't purchase where you live and, all type of BS like that. I strongly disagree. Of course, if you can purchase a investment property like a duplex and live in it, and rent the other side, which is very possible with FHA. And if you guys want to get more information about that, you can definitely contact me in the comment section of this video, and I could break that down a little bit more. But, without her purchasing that home, she would not be able to do the things that she's doing now, or she did. So I say that to say this. If you have not purchased a home, try your best to get into something. Try to do something, whether it's a condo, townhome, single family home, whatever you can get. You get it at a good deal and you get it at a good interest rate. You can't lose. Of course, unless the unforeseen happens where you lose your job or whatever the case may be, and you just absolutely can't afford to pay where you stay. But it doesn't make a difference, because at the end of the day, if you're a living, breathing person, you have to live somewhere, and to live somewhere, you have to pay somebody to live there, whether it's your mortgage company or your landlord. I would prefer it be your mortgage company as opposed to your landlord. So rent is ridiculously expensive at this point in time. So why would you dish out $1,400-$1,500 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and at least in our market, and that's like the minimum. That's in an okay area. When you could possibly purchase your own home. I would rather, you purchase a 2-bedroom condo as opposed to renting a 2-bedroom condo. So that's basically my story on the importance of, owning property, owning assets as opposed to liabilities, owning things that have equity or can build equity, whatever it may be. You definitely have to not sit around and just be a consumer, just spending, making other people rich. So thank you for tuning in. What I want you guys to do is hit the subscribe button wherever it is on the screen, and turn on your notifications so every time I upload a brand new video or a segment of my podcast, you guys could get that notification and you will be on top of it ASAP, because we have a lot of valuable information you don't want to miss out. And once again, thank you for tuning in to the Garage Billionaire, and much success.